Hi. Today we're exploring the problem in the text for proper 10 year C. And we've got Luke chapter 10 verses 25 to 37. Just then, a lawyer stood up to test Jesus. "Teacher," he said, "what must I do to inherit eternal life?" He said to him, "What is written in the law? What do you read there?" He answered, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." And he said to him, "You have given the right answer. Do this and you will live." But wanting to justify himself, he asked Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho and fell into the hands of robbers, who stripped him, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead. Now, by chance, a priest was going down that road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. So likewise a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, while traveling, came near him, and when he saw him, he was moved with pity. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, having poured oil and wine on them. Then he put him on his own animal, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii, gave them to the innkeeper, and said, 'Take care of him, and when I come back, I will repay you whatever more you spend.' Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of the robbers?" He said, "The one who showed him mercy." Jesus said to him, "Go and do likewise." You can relate to this moment, right? You see this really smart guy, someone you just know has all the best, rightest answers. Obviously, the total opposite of us, right? I mean, just look at us. So we walk up to them and we ask a ridiculously big question. No, not what is the meaning of life? The other one. What do I need to do to be the bestest, most rightest person in the world? Like top tier human. And he's like, "You know what we're supposed to do, right?" "Uh-huh. What is that exactly?" "Love God and love your neighbor as yourself." "That's it, right?" "Good answer. Now do it." But instead of being chill about it, we decide to prove something. So we're like, "Okay, Brainiac, who's my neighbor?" And he tells a story about a good Samaritan who takes care of some random stranger who was beaten and left for dead. So, what's the problem? The obvious problem in the text is that the parable of the Good Samaritan is a pain in the butt. Because the good, righteous people who follow the rules all avoid helping the dude who is half dead by the side of the road. And the person who does stop to help is like the bad guy. What? He's not just some random dude, but the dude we're supposed to hate. But here he is, being the dude we're all supposed to love. It's like the captain of the football team, who is ridiculously good looking, is also happens to be the most generous guy and loves Star Wars. And for some of us, it's even easier to think about this dude as if he were some nameless other that our culture hates, or culture tells us to hate anyway. Like someone who doesn't look like me, or lives in another country, or gasp, has a foreign sounding name, as in not Chad or Steve. It's almost harder sometimes to imagine Chad or Steve are more neighborly than we are, which takes us down the deeper rabbit hole to the very idea that everybody is our neighbor. Enemies? Nope, neighbors. People living on the other side of the world, but also not enemies? Nope, neighbors. People who live next door? Also neighbors. Even if you fight over trash cans and have sworn to make them enemies forever. Nope. They are just neighbors again. The most useful thing I was ever taught about this parable is that it all stems from the idea of neighbors. It is a response to the question, and who is my neighbor? Jesus could have said, everyone, which would have been a solid choice. Maybe a little on the nose, but he didn't. He told a story. A story that first plays to type, with the righteous dudes picking purity over humanity. Then plays against type by making the Samaritan the good one. So clearly he's the neighbor. So it is totally a way of transforming enemies into neighbors, which is even more dope than saying everyone's a neighbor, even you, Steve. But this goes even a step further than that. The Samaritan recruits a stranger to become a neighbor to this man. He's like, dude, I gotta run, but can you look after this guy and I'll give you maybe $1,000. Hopefully that'll cover it. Just give him a room, feed him, maybe see if the doctor can show up. In other words, Jesus opens up this transforming of neighbors, this ability to become neighbors to literally everyone. So the magic of this is not that we all are neighbors or that everyone is a neighbor, but we are called to be neighbors and help others become neighbors, which is just really beyond cool. May God's grace be with you, and we'll see you next time.